Good luck.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in South Africa, if you are in Turkey, if you listen to us in UAE, if you're in Germany, we are so excited to be here in Queretaro at the Tec de Monterrey campus. And guess what? We have such a treat. Welcome to Leadership in Motion. Angie, if you don't mind, Angie's one of our very own students here at Tech, an amazing young lady who's got a great future, and Angie gets the privilege to introduce our guest speaker. Angie, please go ahead.
It's really a privilege. And first of all, I want to thank. And let's start. Are you ready? Perfect. So our guest and host today is Pascual Alcocer. Pascual is currently the Vice President of the Central South Region of Tecnológico de Monterrey and General Director of Campus Querétaro. Under his wing and the campuses in Querétaro, Puebla, Hidalgo, Cuernavaca, and Tampico. He joined the Tecnológico de Monterrey in April 2018 as Vice President of Administration and Finance. Under his responsibilities were the areas of compliance, financial planning, and information technologies. Pascual began his career at Procter & Gamble, where he held various positions through the Latin America. Further on, he joined Novartis with positions in Switzerland and the United States, holding various roles including CFO of Latin America, Global CFO of the Supply Chain, and most recently, Global Vice President of Business Planning and Analysis. As an entrepreneur, he has developed a chain of hotels in the historic center of Querétaro. He holds a degree in Industrial and System Engineering from Tecnológico de Monterrey, a master's degree in Supply Chain Strategy and International Logistics from the Georgia Institute of Technology. He has participated in various programs at Harvard Business School, at the Executive Program for Members of the Board at EGADE Business School. More recently, he has taken part in the Inclusive Leadership and Diversity Management Program at ESADE. This year, he will be completing his program in Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Acceleration in the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Currently, he is the president of the Entrepreneurship Commission of Coparmex, a founding member of Querétaro Circular, a member of the Digital Transformation 2035 Council, and a member of the Water Council of the State of Querétaro. I think that's more than enough. So please welcome him with a super
No, thank you, Angie.
Pascual, listen to your bio, sir. I just want to applaud you for your work. You know, one of the things that I love about our university is that we believe in being a global institution, an institution that is positioned in a manner that we have not only impacted Mexico, but the rest of the world. And having said that, we would love to learn from you today on your leadership lessons, on your journey as you've been through all these spaces, now finally here on this very beautiful campus. If you have not seen this campus, please visit this campus. So we want to learn from you this afternoon, sir. So we're going to give you this opportunity just to share what we call leadership lessons from our dear friend, Pascual.
No, thank you very much, Kasonde. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Angie, for the very nice presentation. So yeah, actually, in the last weeks, I've been presenting to some of our candidates for graduation the model I've been using these last 25, 30 years that I've been working on very different challenges, right? Because as Angie was mentioning, well, I work in Tec de Monterrey, but I had the opportunity to work in the pharmaceutical industry, in the consumer good industry, and actually as an entrepreneur here in Querétaro. So since many years ago, probably 20, 25 years ago, I've been using a model that was developed in the first company where I worked, that was Procter & Gamble. And that model had 5 components. It's called the 5E E's leadership model because it has 5 elements that start with the letter E. So that's what I try to do every time that I get exposed to a challenge. So in the case of our campus, I'm following this same model, and all it starts with the first E, that is envisioning. So envisioning is about setting the picture of the future, right? What do you want to do in the place that you are or in the challenge that you're in front of, so that you're clear where you're heading to. And in the case of Querétaro, for example, in our campus, well, we wanted to head to a place by 2025 that now is next year, right? So we started 4 years ago. It goes really fast. And we want, in our 50th anniversary of the campus that is in 2025, really have a campus that is the Tech's the tech at its best. We want to have a community with a global spirit in the ideal city for college life. And that vision is something that I've been sharing with my organization. Obviously, we set the vision together with the national organization of Tec de Monterrey, but we also heard the government of the state and the city. We also heard the industry, but importantly, we heard what our students wanted to, what they were dreaming about their campus by 2025. So that's probably the first component, how you set a vision and get everybody aligned to work against this vision with a certain number of priorities. Here we have 4 priorities. And then the second thing, the second E from this model is engaging. Engaging, getting to know who are the people that are going to help you to make this vision a reality. In the state of Querétaro, in Campus Querétaro, one of the things that we found out is that working together with the government and industry, it was going to be very, very helpful, because we have a government that thinks of entrepreneurship, a government that tries to think on social development. So that obviously it's a privilege, and we're lucky, right, that we have a government that we can align the vision of the Tec de Monterrey with the state of Querétaro. And then we started to work with the industry. So engaging the right people, engaging some Exatec that we have in the government, engaging the industry that really wanted to be working in the same direction was absolutely critical, so that we got sponsors that go in the same direction and that were able also to fund the ideas with the state funds, but also with industry funds, because obviously the Tec de Monterrey cannot fund everything, because the money comes from our students, right? So we're not going to be using all the money for this kind of vision. So the second thing was engaging. Then the third thing,
I'm excited about what you're sharing. I wanted, for the clarity of our listeners,
yeah, absolutely.
When you're talking about government, are you talking about national government or state government?
Well, in the case of Querétaro, the 2 levels of government that we engage was the state government, that is the state of Querétaro, like Nuevo León or Jalisco, but here the state of Querétaro. And we involve several ministries, right? Education, economic development, tourism, etc. And then we also involve the second level of the government, that is the city government, the municipality. Now, Querétaro, pretty much it has one big city, one big municipality, that is the Querétaro city, and then the Querétaro state, right? So those are 2 levels, but it's a lot simpler than in other states, right? I was recently in Oaxaca, and they have 570 different municipalities, right? So it's very difficult to work with a number of people in the government. Here, there are not that many players, right? I always tell people that here is like a soap opera with 10 actors or actresses, right? So it's it's a lot easier to work in Querétaro in that front. Yeah. So that was state and municipality, as you answering your question, Kasonde.
Thank you, sir.
And then we have the third E, and that has to be with energizing, with inspiration, with having everybody buying the vision and getting excited about making it a reality. So we started with our own organization here in the campus, and we ended up 3 days in our new residences when we just opened them a year and a half ago. Well, not now, 2 years ago, and what we did was trying to build together the details of this vision and trying to make sure that everybody dreams to really have our campus as the tech at its best, have the campus as a community with global spirit, right? Because we think we believe a lot on the value of the cultural diversity of having people. And what can I tell you, right? I mean, you are the best expression of cultural diversity, right? And that's something that we really want to be driving here. So inspiring the teams, and then come back and share these 4 priorities with our students. Yes. And having our students saying, yeah, this is exactly the vision. That's what I dream. I want a campus that is inclusive, that has social impact, that thinks about sustainability, that is aligned with what we dream as students, as government, as industry, as Tec de Monterrey in our vision. So that's the third E, that is energizing, inspiration, motivation, having people willing to act towards a vision that we all share. And then the fourth one is a critical one, that is the enabling. Enabling is making sure that people has the tools to be successful, right? Because if we come back and say we want to have this in the future, but we don't have the money, we don't have the organization, we don't have the teams, we don't have the tools really to make it a reality. Is one thing that we made sure is that we have the right leadership team to drive these actions, right? So we built a leadership team. As I had the opportunity to combine the central and the south region here in my organization, so we had the privilege to try to bring the best talent that we had in Tecnológico Monterrey, and some of it external talent as well. So we had people coming from Monterrey campus, like our leader of engineering, or people coming from Puebla, like our leader from social science, or people coming from Mexico City as our leader of business. And we also have some people that came from the external organization. So having a team 50-50 men and women, which was also an added value, right? Because you always have all different perspectives represented in a team. And then we started to try to build a plan, build the details, and make sure that we secure the funds. That's what I was talking about, the importance of engaging the right team. So having the Tec de Monterrey aligned and being able to drive what we want to drive, but also having the government offering funds and offering support to make all these things realities. And the industry as well needed to live with the same vision so that we can make sure that things can make it and can be a reality by enabling the different teams. So enabling, to me, it's critical, because if people don't have the tools, we cannot make things reality. And then the last one.
I'm excited, Angie. I'm like, what's the last E?
What's the last one? Well,
I'm
I think the last
memorizing them.
one, to me, is probably the most important. Is the one that builds the credibility. Is the executing, making sure that you deliver the results. So we started to talk about things like, we want to be expanding the academic offer, and we want to be having internationalization and driving entrepreneurship and innovation. But for example, in academic offer, we went and aligned in Tec de Monterrey that we needed to have the sixth school that we didn't have. So now we have all the schools represented on the campus. That was the School of Medicine and Health Sciences. But to be able to execute and deliver and grow our campus, one of the largest campus in Tec de Monterrey, double digit in students, in the students that are coming in to our campus, that's not easy. I mean, moving the needle and making sure that you actually end up growing 11%. That's something that needs a lot of detail and execution, and having everybody focused on the metric, looking every week, every month that the students are actually come and they see the value, right? Same thing with internationalization. We needed to move from 5% to 20% of international students. So we have all these programs, all this stuff that it has been driving our number of students from 5 to 9, and obviously we drew into 20. But we end up in 18, that's fine, right? That's more than 3 times what we used to have. Wow. So executing builds the credibility. People can believe in you if you promise things and then you deliver them. If you promise and you don't deliver, they probably won't follow you in the future. So executing, it is very important. So those are kind of the 5 E's that in every challenge, in every opportunity, I try to follow in a very structured manner.
Wow.
Personally, the last one has been my favorite. I think it really portrays leadership at the most, as you can be. I don't know, like gives you the style of leadership you are, demonstrates it to other people without not only words, thoughts, dreams, but actions as well.
In fact, that's a question I wanted to ask Angie. As a student, I wanted to say, you're listening to the leader of your campus, the leader of your region, and you hear him talk about all these steps that went through to land the plane where the plane is today. How do you feel?
I feel I don't know, I want to thank you. I would say,
thank you,
like,
Angie.
first in my words, and also I think in part of the tech community, at least Campus Queretaro, because I've been part of this whole process. Like, I've been here in Tech Campus Queretaro since 2017, and I've seen all the changes. Sadly, well, not sadly, but I think times came to an end, and it's time, like, evolution, and that time it's not like linear, you know. But I'm so excited to come back as Exatech in 2025 and see all these changes, because I don't know if you've been through the campus, Dr. Musoma, but it's really changing, and you feel like the same, like the essence of Campus Querétaro is still there, but it's, I don't know, like a super personal campus I really, really, really like with all my heart. And I've seen like this action, the engagement, the funds. I know that we, like, Tech Campus Querétaro has been collaborating with like the state, the city of Querétaro. I've been into a lot of events where they are like really doing something about sustainability. A friend of mine is working right now as a coordinator of the sustainability management or department. And I see him really excited. He's also Exatech now.
No, the word is not excited. That's the wrong E. Energized.
Energized.
Energized, not excited.
My bad,
not
my
excited.
bad.
Let's get the right E in there.
My bad. I got this new dictionary now. I must implement it. So he's really energized. He studied IDS, like sustainability engineering. And I don't know, I really see like such as his dream has been accomplished, like by like this community we have been creating. I see like this is just a case, but I can keep mentioning and mentioning and mentioning, like I don't know, like these goals and like these success cases. And I think we can keep moving forward with all these E's, like not only energizing, but like getting to like the engagement, which I think it was one of the like the most controversial at some point. And I really like to see the other side of, I wouldn't say fear, but like the other side of what you were expecting, no? And also like things that you plan suddenly can turn out to another outcome, and you still need to keep going and to keep like the people or your team motivated, or not only motivated, because leadership, it's not only about motivation, but in motion.
In motion.
Yes.
We're here at Leadership in Motion.
Yeah,
Angie,
we
thanks for bringing us back to base.
Motion.
We are in Leadership in Motion. Pascual,
Back to basis.
I love the part when you talk about engagement, because I'm still at these E's, right? You talk about engagement. So you invite these people. You've hired the best of the best, right? And you're telling them, dream. And I heard somebody say, if your dream is not scary, it's not a dream.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Was there a dream that was shared in these meetings where you thought, this is scary? Like, is there a dream, or even a dream that still scares you that you have that you might be willing to share?
Well, yeah, there were a few dreams that were scary, right? So one of the ways that we engaged the different members of the city, you know, the state, etc., was through a project that was with MIT RIP, that is this regional entrepreneurship acceleration program. It's kind of a program that tries to accelerate the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. And we invited the most prominent actors in Querétaro, and we took an 18-month effort with this university in Boston, and we started to follow up with all these members. So the first thing that was a little bit concerned and afraid was if I was going to get the participation and the active involvement of all these leaders in Querétaro, from the government state, from the city, the industry. We invited Continental, Santander. We invited Coparmex, for example, and we were trying to dream what we want to do in Querétaro so that we raise this platform, this ecosystem of entrepreneurship. And I thought, there is some probability that I have to come back with my bosses in Monterrey and tell them, you know what, it was a beautiful start with everybody there, but 6 months later, this disappeared. And we needed to find ways that they could see the value and that they could maintain the engagement. So We graduated from this program last year in November. We finished the program with what we call a Global Innovation Summit. We had the 30 heads of the universities in the first row. So basically the 30 rectors or whatever we call it in the academic world. And but we also have the government. We even have the legislative function, the legislative power here, a senator and a representative. And we invited David Garza. So I said, well, David is going to come here and he's going to give a speech. Hopefully this works well, right? Because if it won't, he will be disappointed. And it was very nice to see the representation of all the levels of the government, but importantly, all the 30 universities that are the largest ones in Querétaro, public and private, because I have a particular interest to get the public universities that are incredibly good to be in an alliance with Tec de Monterrey, right? Because we want to drive the social impact. We want to contribute to the development of the state and the city. And yes, I was afraid. I thought people won't follow. And I'm so impressed that now they started to buy a new innovation district that we're going to start together with the public university, with the Autónoma de Querétaro, and the new head, the new director of the university, that is an incredible woman. It's all bought in. I mean, she's like, okay, let's drive it together with the government, and the government is there. And also we started to get investors. So it is something that obviously gets you nervous, and you said, well, I may fail, right? And if I fail, that will be a noisy and visible failure, right? But I think everybody kind of has the same intention: how to help the city, how to help the state, and how to raise the quality of life of the people in Querétaro. And that, at the end of the day, is something that nobody can fight against, right? It's a nice purpose. So.
Wow. So Angie, there's conversations, kind of following up on what Pascual has shared. There's conversations in where I'm from, which is Zambia, about the relevance of universities.
Yes.
Are we producing graduates? Are we doing the work that actually results in impact, social impact? And so hearing you say this is really exciting for me, even thinking in relationship to where I'm from.
Yeah.
My homeland. The question I had for you is, do you see this as a great model for private-public social partnerships for universities? And where does this go from here if this is a success? How do you see this being a reapplied? Yes, in other cities.
Yeah, I definitely believe. I started saying that in Querétaro it's a lot easier to work with the government, with the other universities. I think the land is a place where you can work together. But I definitely believe that the public and private alliances are the ones that will drive the highest impact in Mexico, right? Because you have very complementary strengths from both areas. I think the best way to do it is by sharing a vision. I mean, dreaming the same thing. Come back to the 5 E's, right? If you don't start with sharing a vision, if you just want to be friends because it's nice to go to a cocktail with the public university, then it won't work. But if you dream of a better Querétaro, if you dream of more inclusive, it's something. Inclusion, it's a huge topic. But
it's one of the 4.
One of the 4,
yes.
by the way, one of our 4 priorities. But
yeah.
But for example, this head of the public university of the Autónoma de Querétaro, she's talking about creciendo en la diversidad, growing in diversity, and that's something very aligned with what we want to drive. We want to have a campus where every single person feels valued, secure, and that can unlock their full potential, as we used to say in Tec 21. But that's so important. So if we share the vision, and if we have a common view and a common dream, it's a lot easier to work together. And I think this is replicable if the vision is social and economic development, right? You want people to have a better quality of life at the end of the day, and that's something that we can reapply. Obviously, the there are places where we have a lot more actors and actresses than the soap opera that we live in Queretaro, right? So,
With the 10 actors.
So that makes it even more complex. If I want to reapply this to Mexico City, where it's a 20 million people city, I know the challenges will be different. But I think at the end of the day, it all comes to what we both dream, what everybody dreams. And if you share a vision and you work against it, I think the relationship between the public and the private sector can be a lot better. So,
wow. Yeah. What I would like to highlight about your recent comment, it's that I think it's easier being a leader that like collaborating with other leaders to follow the same goal, not like for personal interest that you said, because like it's easier for you not to settle down and not to be like, okay, I'm doing this for like a bigger cause. And like, as you said, this scares me so much, but it also empowers me so much. And I also like this quote that it's, I want to discover what's on the other side of the fear. And I think it's like when you're not alone, so you won't discover it alone, but like you're also collaborating and aligning yourself, but not yourself only, but your projects. And I think it's like a really highlight about your apportation and also like to keep in motion. And can I ask something to our...
Please, Angie.
There you go.
I was thinking about these 5 E's that you previously learned in Procter & Gamble. And if you had the chance to add, adjust, or create, or put like a special mark in a new one, would it be evolution at some point? Like, you know, if you evolve, or if your goals, dreams, the project itself, the team, if it's towards evolution or towards energizing, what would it be an E that you will add or you wouldn't?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. So,
Thank you.
What is from these is, I think the value of engaging is huge. I think the most
the fourth
we
one,
collaborate,
right?
that actually is the second one. Right after the vision, you try to engage people and try to share the dreams and try to get people buying in so that they can support your ideas. I think that's one that when it works great. But I had experiences where it didn't work, and when it doesn't work, it fails terribly. So it is very important that you understand what are the dreams of others, and that you dream the same thing, so that you're able to engage them. And once you engage people in the right way, you get all the support, and then you start to moving faster and faster. So to me, engaging is something that the more I think about it, I think the most important to make it happen, because you energize people based on their dreams, right? But if the right actors, the right people are engaged, then it's a lot easier to roll the ball and make things happen.
You know what, Angie? I feel like we didn't get permission to do this with our guests, but I think we're going to do something interesting here.
Okay, let's see.
So we're impressed at what you've done here as this amazing professional, this entrepreneur, and this. We're going to take you back to childhood, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody draws inspiration from a place that is not just university.
Yeah.
That's not just, because you took a great professor or whatever. Take us to some place. Little Pascual's running somewhere. He's like, I'm going to change the world. Where's this place? I mean, where do you draw this packaged energy and
came from?
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, probably it's a combination of two things. I come from a large family. I'm the youngest brother of 9.
Oh.
And all my brothers and sisters, obviously, they're ambitious, and I have over 100 first cousins, and there are people that drive stuff, right? So being the youngest of all these 100 plus first cousins, and being the youngest of all these 9 brothers and sisters, I think I wanted to do something that makes an impact, right? And I always dream to. How can I make an impact, have a global corporate career, or having my own business that is very successful? I found a place with Tec de Monterrey, right? A place where you can use the platform of such a recognized and and great institution that can impact positively the life of our students, but beyond of our students, the life of a city, the life of a region, the life of a country. So that's on one hand. And then the second big motivation is that I ended up having 3 daughters. and when you have daughters, when you have kids, you end up having a total different motivation, right? And being the 3 girls, obviously, inclusion and gender equality and all these topics become even more relevant and more important. So I think those are 2 engines that help me to dream. Obviously, I love Querétaro. I'm from this city, and I love Tec de Monterrey. I study here, but I think the being part of this family that is trying to have an impact, and everybody competes with the other brother and sister and cousin and all that stuff. So it's so that's something that when I was a kid, I was always thinking, how can they look at me? So probably by having an impact, a positive impact on other people's lives. So that's probably the best way, right?
Wow. 3 daughters.
I know.
I know.
I'm also the youngest sibling, and I don't know if you feel or like identify with me, but I admire. No, they inspire me. Yesterday we have a kickoff session from the program, the EGS program, and Dr. Musoma was telling us like not to admire, but to get inspired from others. And I think I got inspired from my siblings because they were also older than me. They are also older than me. And I think I found myself through the experiences they have. Like, I value what they've made, all the efforts that they've made. And also I am who I am because they are who they are. I don't know if you feel like identified with your siblings.
Yes, Angie,
well.
I think you're totally right. I mean, you get this inspiration from the family, from my brothers, my sisters, and definitely you wanna. I mean, you wanna make sure that you live up to that expectation, right? And that and then they look. And they come back and look at you and say, "Okay, you're doing something, right?" So
you're the youngest.
Exactly. Not you're the youngest. I mean, so definitely the inspiration comes from the family, from my parents, from what I try to demonstrate that I'm able to do, and the positive impact I can make. But yeah, it's also pressure at the same time, right?
Yes.
So you live with the pressure of doing something, right? So it is. It's important. Yeah.
But you also learn from their failures and success.
In fact,
so you have that advantage.
So guess what? We are going to the classroom since we are a school. So the first lesson question we have for you, sir, is how do you define leadership?
How do I define leadership? Well, I think leadership is the ability to have people sharing your vision and walking to places where they wouldn't walk alone, right? And that you're really being able to inspire, as Angie was saying, and driving people to action towards a place that everybody wants to go, right? But probably wouldn't go alone.
Man, sounds like Nelson Mandela.
I love him. I love him. He's one of my favorite leaders.
No way. So tell us a little bit
absolutely.
about that. Why Nelson Mandela as one of your favorite leaders?
Well, I think people that face adversity, that is resilient, that despite all the difficulties in life, I mean, they don't change their vision. They don't give up. They have the inner strength to make such a massive impact on the world, not even on South Africa, but in the world, it's truly inspiring. To me, I the more I read about him, the more I learn about the way that he was driving his ideology, his dreams, the change that he wanted to create. I mean, the more inspired I get, I don't admire, I get inspired by him. It's a true inspiration. I think it's amazing how a person, in a way, so pacific, so totally convinced, he can get these levels of resilience and inner strength to make things
So
a
engaged.
reality.
He was engaged.
Yep.
And he had a dream. You know, I heard somewhere that Nelson Mandela used to tell his friends, I'm going to be the first black president of South Africa, like way back then, not even recently, like in the 60s. And he only became a president in the 90s. So when
Isn't
you
it
talk about
resilience?
the resilience,
Inner
that you're talking
strength,
about,
yeah.
inner strength. So one of the questions we had for you is to ask you about a recent leadership moment that was exemplary, where you walked out saying, you know what, Pascual, what was that moment like? It could be a small, it could be big, but where you just felt like, you know what, today I landed the plane.
Wow.
Wow.
Good question.
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So I think every time that I'm able to get this engagement, to have the right people buying into our dreams and ending up a session, a meeting, a reunion where I have the support to move forward, what I feel like invincible, right? So that you're gonna be able to do whatever you want because you're able to sell a dream. Obviously, this has the other side, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're not able to sell a dream.
And that's the next question.
Right? Yeah. So I'll let you ask.
So the next question is, when did you sell a dream, in your own words, and the people didn't buy? And what was that like?
Yeah, that's... So the biggest challenges I've had in my career actually has been in Mexico. So I work, as I said, in Switzerland, in the US, in South America. But here, when I came to the Tec de Monterrey, was a massive cultural change, right? Coming back to my country that I love, and getting to the Tec de Monterrey, to this finance role. So I was trying to think of finance the way I used to think it in the past in my former companies, trying to think of the CFO of like the second in command of the CEO, and clearly in Tec de Monterrey finance is not the second in command. The second in command is the academic organization, is life, what our students do every day, with art, with leadership, with culture, with sports, etc. And then how you leave the campuses, right? So it was difficult, right? Because at the beginning I was trying to sell things, and I quickly realized, well, it's not as relevant. This is an institution that is not trying to increase the value of the shareholder. It's what it's trying is to have an impact in Mexico. So I had a lot of moments when I look at the mirror and I say, what am I doing? It's not the place I want to be. But I love Tec de Monterrey so much, and I love the impact that this institution can have in society, that I stayed and tried to make the case that I can lead an organization like the one I'm leading today, where I can have a huge impact in people's lives in running a campus or region. And I never forget, and I'm very, very grateful to the opportunity that David and Victor gave me, because at the end of the day, they were running a risk, right? I mean, this guy is going to be running campuses, and all what has been doing in his career was strategic planning or finance or corporate, merger and acquisitions and things like that. And I'm really not an academic expert. So at the beginning, when I came to the Tech, I wasn't able to sell what I was trying to do because it's not a finance-centric organization.
That's a good point.
It's a student life-centric. It's an impact-centric organization. So that wasn't easy, but I found my way a few years later.
A few years later. I'm so excited. I would love for you to give a message to people in the diaspora. I'm one of those people who left home, went and studied overseas, with the full intention of returning home to make a difference. And a lot of people in my shoes, in your shoes, don't usually come back. But you came home. Mm-hmm. What would you say to those that are out there listening? Because there's a lot of people who will be listening to this talk, who are sitting in that space of, you know what, I left home, but it's time to go back and make an impact. What would you say to that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest motivations, right? So I think deep down in our hearts, we always love the place where we were born, right? We always love the family. We always love our parents, our brothers, sisters, our cousins, our land. And I also believe that to be able to have the biggest impact in the place where you were born is by getting exposed to situations, to challenges, to experiences that are highly competitive and that take you out of your comfort zone and out of the simple life that you can live in the place where everybody is going to be supporting you. So I think the message is go out, get challenged, get out of your comfort zone, but never forget your roots. Never forget what you want to impact and why are you here for. And I think a lot of our students that go out and have either professional experiences or studies experiences outside of Mexico, outside of their towns. Some of them come from the south of Mexico or many other areas that are probably not as developed as many other countries. I think we never forget. We shouldn't forget our roots. We shouldn't forget what we're here for. And if we get the motivation to come back and find a way to have a huge impact in our in the places where we were coming from, I think that will give us the motivation, the inspiration, at the end of the day, the happiness that we're all trying to find.
Wow.
Should be an E for embrace, no?
Embrace home.
Let's come back home. Let's go back home.
No, I love it, because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, all of us want to go home. In fact, in the program EGS, I quote Tolstoy when he says, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started, and to know the place for the first time." Yeah. This coming home is kind of a theme that I think about a lot, even in my own life, even as I look at students. As I was talking to her, she was in UAE with her parents, just a couple of days ago, and here she is in Mexico, and how global. So for the two of you, I have homework in the spirit of being global. So in my language, which is Bemba, they say umwana.
Okay.
So please say it. Umwana.
Umwana.
Ashenda.
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 Atasha.
Atasha.
Nina.
Nina.
Efio.
Efio.
Epica.
Epica.
Yes, umwana,
What did we
ashenda,
just say?
atasha, nina, efio, epica. Angela, what did we just say? What we just said is a child that doesn't travel thinks his or her mom is the greatest cook. And that's what you just told us. Go out there. Go learn everything that you could learn so that you could bring back different aspects of greatness and goodness from the world to where you're from and have an impact.
Absolutely.
So, and before I came to Mexico, I had a single story of Mexico, which was from the news in the United States mainly, because that's where I lived. And then now that I've been in Mexico, Angie, like coming to Queretaro, I was like, wait a minute. Wow. I'm driving around and I'm seeing what this city has and the downtown and the beauty that's here. I'm like, you know what? If I'd never left the U.S. and come to Mexico, I would have had one story of Mexico, which is not fair for any place or person. And so with that, sir, we're going to go back to our founder, Don Eugenio Gazasada, the man that founded our university 80 years ago. I would like for you to share any remarks that you have regarding our founder, and then I will read out 17 principles that he lived by, and I'm going to ask you to pick one principle that you like from those, that you not like, but that you embrace from those 17 principles, if you don't mind.
Well, absolutely I can. And actually I went and started to look at them because I resemble, I can see each one of the principles, and I I totally agree. The more I see this, the more inspired I get by Don Eugenio. So it's amazing how relevant they are today. I like the number 12.
Number 12.
Number 12. Be sure to enjoy your job.
Oh.
Be absolutely sure that you're enjoying what you're doing. I think that has a huge value, right? Because every day that we wake up, well, some days we want to work, but some others we don't, right?
Yes, sir.
And when you come back and look at the mirror and see, you know, I enjoy what I'm doing. I think I'm doing something that help others, that help me, that my daughters are gonna get inspired by what I'm doing. I think that makes me the strength to come back and work every day. So I think the number 12, it's probably the one I like the most.
Wow. What do you have to say, Angie? Do you have any comments?
I'm still shocked about the 5E. I think they...
You're still thinking about the 5E?
Even after
They're related. I mean, about like be sure that you enjoy your job. I think it's like a combination, not of all of them, but like energizing or like the engagement or getting people to believe in you. I think that's what I take of you.
Thank you,
my
Angie.
dearest coordinator of the campus, and I'm excited to keep seeing what other expectations or plans we have for this campus. Sadly, as I said before, this is my last semester, but I'm really excited of all the opportunities I've had thanks to this community, like the studying abroad that just 1 week ago I was still in the EU, and I don't know, I'm really proud of being part of this community, but not only of this community, but of this city, of this country. I really embrace. I really embrace it. And I actually, just fast, because I know we are
You're good.
Quite short of time, but I think when people ask me in my study abroad, like, what are your plans? Like, are you coming back to the EU? Are you staying? I was like, I know I want to. Once a friend that I met there, a professor I talked to, she shared with me the Plato theory. And as I say in my bio, I really like psychologies and these theories like of human discoverment. And she said, like there was a cave where you used to live. And so one day you just decide or take the decision to leave the cave and see what's outside. But it's like you're going to find out with fear, with rejection, failure, success, you don't know, like uncertainty. And I really want to embrace that and want to live like with that philosophy also, like there's time for everything. And I think that's a really, a quote that really inspires me, and that I can find similarities with like the program of the 5 pillars, 5 E's and 4 pillars of tech. And I don't know, like don't pressure you, because everything at the end will fit. Now, even though you need to submit results or you're expecting an outcome, everything will like come into place. And when you return to that cave, you have a lot of things to which like decorate or to explain to the people in that cave and to embrace. So yes.
That's great. That remind me of, have you seen the movie The Croods?
No, sir.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies.
I'm gonna write that down right
They live in a cave and they move outside, so it's great. Great analogy, and I love it. I love it, Angie. Yeah.
No way. Hey, we got a movie recommendation. We got 5 E's. We got 4 pillars. And, you know, we are now at the... This has been a wonderful conversation, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for being what I like to call democratic in your conversation with us. You know, there's sometimes when you encounter leaders where you feel like you can't ask certain questions, but you've been extremely democratic, and I do appreciate that about our conversation today. As a wrap-up question for you, sir, I'd like to ask you, what do you hope your legacy at Tech will be?
Wow. Well, I think my hope is that in many years from now, they come back and say, you know, Tec de Monterrey had a huge impact on Querétaro, on Mexico, and that what we're driving is community that is more inclusive, that is more sustainable, and that has a lot higher social impact. I think those three things that our students were dreaming for, I think these dreams are contagious, right? So that's the legacy I would like to have. I mean, a society that is more inclusive, that we think on sustainability and our future of our planet, and that importantly, that we have a big social impact, that we don't think only on the people with privilege, but with on everybody. So that's kind of the legacy I hope I can contribute to live here.
I think for sure we're going towards that direction. We'll see it in a couple of years or more.
Wow. I am so excited. Have you ever had conversations where you just want to sit there for a second and just kind of take it in? This is one of those conversations, sir. Mm-hmm. Angie, since at Tech, we love to put our students at the front of what we do. Mm-hmm. I think that's something I've enjoyed working for this university. We'll give you the privilege of giving a quick wrap-up of what has happened here this afternoon, if that's okay with you. Is that okay?
I hope I don't miss anything, because it was a lot of important information to process. But first, we started with the biography of our special guest today. Then we talked about the pillars and the first motivations based on your experience in Procter & Gamble, the popular 5 E's that we talked about during the podcast. Then we mentioned, Dr. Musoma was gentle to ask you some questions, not only about success, failure, expectations, selling dreams, having these dreams, or how to lead with the fear or with failure, rejection. And lastly, we wrap up with our Eugenio Garza Sada, the founder of this beautiful institution. And Dr. Pascual mentioned, be sure to enjoy your job, as the quote, or the principles, the 12 out of 17. And I don't know if I'm missing something.
No, actually. So we did not offer our viewers those principles. Sir, do you mind just reading them out for our viewers? The 17 principles, if you don't mind. The 17.
So the 17.
Yes, sir. Because I think some people might not know them, and then we'll wrap up with that.
I love them, and I think everybody's gonna love them. So the first one is recognize the merit of others. The second one is control one's temper. The third one, never mock others. The fourth is be polite. The fifth one is be tolerant. The sixth one, I love it, be punctual. The seventh one, if you're vain, you must hide it. The eighth is do not alter the truth. The number 11, let others speak. Wow. The number 10, express yourself concisely. The number 11, refine your vocabulary. The number 12 is be sure to enjoy your job. The number 13 is recognize the enormous value of the manual worker.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
The number 14, think of the benefit of the business over your own. Number 15, analyze over and above the inspiration or intuition. The number 16, dedication to work. And the number 17, be modest.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening and joining in for Leadership in Motion. We're so honored and thrilled to have had an amazing guest today. And we'd like to invite you to stay connected on social media for our next session in Leadership in Motion. Mr. President, Mr. Director, our leader here in Queretaro, thank you so much. And please remember to visit this beautiful place in this beautiful country called Mexico, and the town is Queretaro. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.